Tony here from Big Ears Audio, another edition of Love What You Do, Do What You Love. I'm here with Adam Dunning, singer-songwriter, actor, ABC presenter, radio podcast announcer.
Yeah, all that stuff, mate.
Yeah, cool.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think it's the whole 360 thing you've got to do in entertainment.
Beautiful. Now, Adam's one of the fortunate guys, one of the lucky ones like ourselves, that he does what he loves doing. And why don't you tell us a little bit about your journey, how you got to where you go, what you do, every day, like, it's obviously a different day, but how did you, from going, like everyone else, doing the 9-to-5ers or whatever, if you ever had a 9-to-5er.
Yeah, I did.
And to transcending over to the, basically doing what you love. And because, there's a lot of work, but I'd love to hear your journey.
Thanks, Tone. No, it's look, I don't know, it's I like to think it was more of an evolution rather than anything else. I think a lot of people like to think the black and white. In other words, you're working a 9-to-5 one day and the next day you just moved into the arts and you're doing what you love. Well, it doesn't happen really like that. It's more about sort of a gradual progression into it. So you generally find that if you love, in my case, songwriting and playing the guitar and also singing, and you start doing that a little bit more each day, it starts to grow, and eventually, just like a boil, it takes over your life.
So that was yeah. So it's either a blessing or a curse, I know. But so that was your sort of thing. You're a songwriter, singer, and that's how you sort of got into where your next stage.
And I know it was a true love for this because it was bossa nova music, and a lot of people, especially sort of in the 90s and early noughties, they sort of thought that bossa nova is sort of not overly cool. I mean, it was kind of, it was elevator music potentially at one stage. And so, I knew it was love because I was so into it and I felt so much for
That's
this.
fantastic.
That I didn't give a shit what everybody else thought.
I just really
loved this music, and I loved writing it, and I thought the absolute the beauty of this music, the way they'd written this in the 1960s when this first, late 50s when this first started. It's just so beautiful the way they wrote, and I wanted to be. I didn't want to impersonate that. I just wanted to develop my own.
You wanted to develop your own style, and that
using that as a foundation.
And the key is, I think that's the thing. If you really are into what you do and you love it, and it comes naturally to you.
Yeah. People
see through the bullshit, and they're drawn to that.
And
so from that you went into acting. I mean,
and the thing is that well, actually, it's funny because leaving that I was a lawyer, 9 to 5, over in London, and leaving that, obviously you still have bills to pay, and of course music, it can often be. A lot of people say, "Oh, there's no money in it." Well, you can really make it work if you just full of ideas, or you're really an open book in terms of how you get this music out there. So you can really push that. But there are other things you can do as well. So I started doing a bit of acting as well. Fantastic. And I was on a few commercials, and then I got picked up for a few voiceovers, and which Tone here has actually got me in for a few.
Well, that's how we've gotten to know one another. But since then, you've done a lot of things. Like I know that you're. Would I call you an activist? As you try to save the Melbourne trams. That's one of your loves as well.
Yeah, and that's a long, ongoing thing. That I'm almost I'm keeping a watchful eye on our W class trams. I know they're just being used at the moment in the city circle, but I've always got this thing that the ones which are in the yards must be protected because they're actually they're owned by Melbourne, not the government.
It's great.
And it's important because they're an essential part of our heritage.
So tell us more about your podcast, mate.
Well, I've been presenting for the ABC for about 4 years now, and ABC Victoria, and I thought this is, I needed to go out and do my own thing. I needed to really sort of get this bossa nova music heard, which I'd established many relationships with around the world with a lot of the composers themselves. Very small genre.
Sure.
So I wanted to get that known. And so I basically put together this radio show which did that, but at the same time, given it's such exotic music, involved travel in it as well. So I host that every week.
And for people who want to get onto it, where could they find it?
It's called The Sun Lounge, Tony.
The Sun Lounge.
Yeah, and it's called The Sun Lounge, and you can get it on your podcast button on your phone. Just look that up, and by pressing your Apple podcast button or your Android. Yeah, and you can go on iTunes and subscribe to it.
Fantastic, going well?
Going great. Fantastic. Yeah, it's like the graph. They have graphs and stuff.
Fantastic.
They show you graphs.
That's what we love, man. Oh, look,
I love it. That's good because it's promoting all the artists too, which I love. A lot of these guys don't get any promotion because it's elevator music.
Yeah. To some it is. But,
right.
The great thing is that you're doing everything you want to do.
Yeah, I think
but
so.
I know, like, people, I know it's a lot of hard work. but you look like you're really happy, and that's a really good thing, man.
I hope so.
Thanks, man. Well, thanks, Adam. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks, Tony.
Thanks,
Good to
man.
see you, man.